Hey everybody, it's Steve from Heavy Crow with my faithful companion Wilson, and it's Matt. Hey Matt.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good.
I sandbag you and you do nothing with it. Well, so the world is in turmoil.
Oh, yes.
Everything's changing around us.
Yep.
And we can't get to Resident Evil 3, and we can't get to the the Final Fantasy 7 gameplay that we promised you guys on the main channel. But thankfully, you two, my faithful friends, have stepped in and streamed it independently.
Well,
Because I certainly won't. I have a job. You don't.
Yeah, no, right now I don't.
Yeah,
well,
no.
But I
I'm
also
postponed.
couldn't not, I couldn't not stream it. So,
Yes. So I decided, hey, I'm a white person. I have to embrace my culture. I started the podcast. Amazon right now, I was looking for more equipment for us. Do you know what's sold out on Amazon right now?
What's sold out on Amazon?
Audio equipment for podcasts, but thankfully we bought all this shit months ago.
Well, damn. Okay.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, so we all got together and said, hey, you know what? We need to do some more content for the channel, and we can't physically be together in these trying, weird times. So I said, hey, why don't we just talk about games and stuff?
Okay. Sure.
So, yeah. So here we are. This is, what do we call this?
The Crowcast?
Yeah, how about the Crowcast?
literally was just thinking the exact same thing.
Yep.
Three minds think alike.
Yeah, unless someone already took it, because there's 5
fuck.
million other things. But you know what? This is the Heavy Crowcast, and you know what? We're talking about stuff. So right now, my plan is to do 2 different podcasts. One will be a general podcast where we just talk about whatever,
And shoot the
video
shit.
games, our days. And then next will be, hopefully, a movie review cast we'll do about once a month. That's still in the works. Might never happen. Who knows? So let's try this. Hey, guys.
Hey.
What's going on?
So, I'm sure nobody's even listening to this anymore.
I mean, given our intro is long as shit, no, probably
Yeah, well,
not.
Hey, so you probably read it said something about Final Fantasy VII. So let's talk about Final Fantasy VII.
All right.
Honestly, I was born to talk about Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy, any number. So,
Any number.
Yeah.
Let's,
So
let's start.
yeah. Okay. So let's start. You two have played the lion's share of Final Fantasy games.
No, actually, I've played from 7 on.
I've
Okay, well that's
7, 8, and 9 are kind of what. So
the
7, 8, and 9, I used to come home from school every day and watch my older brother play. And then when he moved out, he gave me his copies of 7, 8, and 9. To this day, Final Fantasy 9 is my favorite Final Fantasy.
oh you oh, don't tell me we lost you,
no. I'm still here.
Matt, come back.
What?
You were dropped.
Was I dropped?
Yeah, you were dropped. All right, so you were saying something about wanting to make Sweet Sweet Love to 9?
Yes. Final Fantasy 9 is by far my favorite Final Fantasy from the 90s.
Nice.
Is it because you're a furry?
No. Funnily enough, I don't have any furry tendencies given all the
You would think.
anthropomorphic
We
animals
we grew up
watching.
in the 90s where everyone wanted you to have sex with a bunny or something, And none of us are furries. Go
I
figure.
had a friend of mine who was watching one of the Lion King movies, and she's like, "Oh man, that lion's hot," and I'm like, "So you're telling me you're a furry?" And I'm just like, "What?"
I mean, I bought the complete series of Tiny Toons Adventures, and I was shocked that I didn't grow up to be a furry.
I mean, the jury's still out on Wilson, so I mean,
Yeah. Hey, bud.
Yeah.
So I know for a fact you have played them since 7, since I had the original copy of 7. I've let you borrow it, and then you morphed in some weird anime goblin after that.
No, that was actually I morphed into some anime goblin after you showed me the Pokemon cartoon and the Yu-Gi-Oh cartoon.
Don't lie to me, boy. I know what I made. I made a monster out of you. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm
you
sorry,
didn't.
humanity. That's my mistake.
No.
Anyways,
Honestly,
23 years ago, right?
yeah, 23 years now.
23 years ago, about, a little game called Final Fantasy VII came out, and all the weebs got together with all the video game nerds and said, finally, our kingdom has been built. And I have a dirty little secret. I've never gotten past disc 1.
Really?
I've tried for 23 years to beat a Final Fantasy game.
Okay.
Wow.
I mean, listen, there's actually nothing wrong with that. I played 7 so many times over the years, and I actually never beat the entire game until, I want to say, about 10 years ago.
I beat the game with help.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll try. I will get to the farthest I've ever gotten is, I think, getting Red X.
Okay. So, honestly, hot take here. Then the Final Fantasy VII remake, or reimagining, as I've been calling it, is a perfect experience for you.
That's why I bought it, and that's why we're here to talk about it.
Like it, I'm actually really envious of you right now because you don't have all the expectations of like, oh, this is gonna happen next, that's gonna happen next. Oh, what's gonna happen with this character? This is a whole new experience for you.
So I am actually a unique case in which I am not someone who has beaten the game. Like, I've gotten to Gold Saucer, and I've gotten to Red X, and that's about it. But since it's been a game that's been out for 20-something years, it's like Star Wars or the Beatles. You just know it, you know?
Right, right.
Like, I know about the comet coming and Aerith being
Ooh,
a part
hey,
of some ancient...
spoilers.
I mean, I don't know what the comet's about, but I know it's coming. I know that Sephiroth is some weird monster baby or something. Like, I understand that certain characters die, and that's a big deal. Like, I know a lot of that stuff. And I've seen some of the expansion. Like, I didn't know who Zack was until, like, 5 years ago when Crisis Core came out, you know? And then I watched the movie, so I know that afterwards Cloud gets kind of sad and full of PTSD, you know?
Yeah.
I've seen these things, but I never beat the original game. But I know story beats from it, from just pop culture. So coming into this new version is a very unique experience because I'm seeing all the old beats that I'm used to of Midgar, the thing I'm most familiar with, and then seeing these new changes and going, okay, well, I can see that maybe this is connected to, like, the expanded universe, but will people who have never played a Final Fantasy game understand this as much as someone like me who's played some of it?
I think
You know?
people who haven't played Final Fantasy VII are actually like in a unique space like you, where this is a perfect chance for them to jump on and experience something and understand it in a way that longtime fans never got a chance to. Because like you said, you found out 5 years ago who Zack was. And you actually meet in Disc 1 characters who are connected to Zack. But
Yeah, like,
you would
is
never
Zack
know that.
even is Zack even mentioned in the original game?
Yeah, he is.
He is.
See, because
Because he's
I
actually,
didn't know
he's
that.
connected to another party member that's not Cloud.
Well, I knew that part. I know that. Let's say
Him and
this is going to have some spoilers to
Yeah.
it. This podcast. So
we'll give you
if you don't
like
want to be
5 seconds after saying spoiler alert.
so no, let's just say that this is going to have spoilers. We're only discussing.
The original?
Let's get right off the bat. We're not going to discuss the entire thing. None of us have beaten this game. This is pre us beating the game cast, and we'll probably do a follow up post beating the game cast.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I know that in this one, they come out right and say like, "Oh, Aerith knew Zack."
yeah.
So, and other people have said, "Oh yeah, you're just like that one guy that used to be around here. What's his face?" So I didn't know that they knew about them, you know? Because I guess I've never gotten to that point where they reveal, "Oh hey, it's his friend." And maybe his friend lives in his brain or something. I don't know.
That's still kind of up in the air. Nobody really understands that. I
Yeah.
don't think.
Does he live? Does he live in the guy's brain? Is he like a clone or something, a la Star Wars? I don't know.
So,
Uh,
what so far? I guess this question, Steve, will be for you.
yeah, yeah.
Comparing this to the original game, what is it that you like about this game more than the old game,
Okay,
and vice versa?
Okay, so let's start. Let's start by saying that. Okay, so right now, all of us are about at chapter 8 to chapter 9,
Yes.
story wise. So that means that in this remake, we have all met Aerith at the church.
Yes.
So comparatively to the old game, that is about what, 3 hours into the game?
If that. I want to say
You know?
it's probably.
Maybe 2?
I think opening bomb mission.
Maybe an hour and a half?
Yeah, probably around an hour and a half.
Yeah,
Yeah,
hour
so-
and a half of the old game. Yeah.
So right now I have about 12 hours on the clock, on the game clock. So that translates to about an hour and a half of the original.
Sadly, I have like
I've met-
35 hours.
Yeah, well, I didn't grind in the same spot for 12, so.
I did.
So the biggest thing is that the part that everybody knows is that you start the game and you blow up a nuclear power plant, a Mako reactor, in a terroristic attack on a big power company that is sucking the planet dry of its natural resources.
And I mean, not even just a power company. This power company is basically the government of this world.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
a diesel punk hellscape where the corporations are the power. There is no central government. It's all corporation warfare. And the corporation is basically free to do whatever they want. So they're sucking the planet dry of all of its natural resources. And you kind of get that. Okay, this is a diesel punk world. We're kind of in a future. We're in this big city, and I guess they built this big city to escape the monsters that are below. Because in Final Fantasy games, there's always monsters, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of in your back of your 10-year-old brain, but you don't really realize it. And so you blow up one reactor, and you go, "Oh, okay, cool. So we just blow up like." You think of it like to that time in like 97, you're thinking of like, oh, it's like Jackie Chan movie. You build up a building, and that's whatever. Well, now, in, I hate to say this, a post 9/11 world where we have seen what that actually looks like in life. Now you're actually seeing what you did and what makes you a eco-terrorist.
Right. And like real quick, just because we do have to preference this, like
Yeah.
it's not even just you because like yeah, they're eco terrorists, they're blowing up a reactor, but it also comes back to Shinra, the corporation in the game running stuff. You actually
Yeah.
see that the president presses a button and causes the damage that you did
Yeah.
to
Like
just
they
fly off the
yeah,
handle.
they technically, while you are the one that initiated this attack, they are the ones that technically pull the trigger, thus sort of resolving our heroes of the damage rather than the previous game going, no, no, you did this shit.
Yeah, like
But
I can't even say
what?
it absolves the heroes because throughout the entire time, I'm sitting there and I'm like, we're supposed to be the good guys? Whereas in the original
Well,
game, I'm just like, oh yeah, no.
yeah, we blew up like the bad guys building. It was full of bad guys,
Yeah, but
right?
no,
No.
this time I'm like, I'm sitting here and I'm like,
Yeah.
Barrett sounds like a cult leader.
Yeah, in this version you realize that while what you're doing is for the greater good, technically, what you've done is you've committed an act of terrorism. You have destroyed essentially someone's power grid, thus killing unnamed amount of people in a sector of his town. Like you blew up a building, you killed a bunch of people. Like people are on the streets. Shit is on fire. People are crying. People are separated from their kids. Like they have to cut the trains down, so people are stuck wherever they are. It's like how the world was on 9/11. And you're sitting there in the wake of all this, and you go, "I'm supposed to be the good guy here."
Right. And like I was
You
saying,
know?
like it's not us that actually made things get to that point. Like the character and the
No,
party
no.
that you're a part of, they're not the ones that pulled that off. They started it,
Yeah.
and the government, the corporation, made things a lot worse. But
Yeah, they like
we
our
we're sitting there
our
as our
bo-
character, and
yeah.
for one, Cloud's just there for money. He doesn't care what
Yeah.
happens. But the
Yeah.
fact that Barrett, Jesse, Biggs, they all like each of them have a different way of looking at it. Barrett's like, no, we're doing this for the greater good. Jesse's like, I didn't expect it to be like this. Maybe there was a better way. Maybe I could have made the bomb less, less volatile. Biggs is kind of just like, we knew this would happen. We knew that this would get to this point. And seeing each of them dealing with this, dealing with like what they think they've done, it gives the characters so much more depth than what we originally got with the original game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
this game definitely has a toll and actually makes you think and feel of the consequences of what happens.
yeah, so that is definitely something I always wanted to actually experience because like before I was like, okay, whatever, like I did a bad I did a crime, whatever, video games. But this time experiencing it for like what it really was in that universe like makes it 10 times more powerful of like, oh, we are playing dirty because the earth is dying, but at the same time you have to like you're drawing from like real political ideals of like Greenpeace.
Oh, absolutely.
Greenpeace has been linked to actual terroristic events supposedly in other countries where you go, okay, like I get what they're doing, but what they're doing is not okay. And even like when you get on that train, just like in the original one, you get on that train and you're just chilling like, oh my god, I can't believe we fucking did this. And some guy who works for Shinra is like, dude, like those guys are dicks. Like you're supposed to like fight people civility with like, with grassroots political organizations and you know, talking to people one on one. You know, that's the way. That's the Shinra way. That's how you do this as like a regular person. You don't just kill people.
And like the game made me like think about it, and I was like, I kind of agree with this guy, this random Shinra employee.
Yeah, well, because like we don't yet know why we did this. Like Final Fantasy VII has always kind of started halfway through someone else's story,
Right.
and then we pick up with this plucky young hero who now is different. The originally Cloud was like, I'm just some soldier guy. You know, I'm just doing this for a friend because anime tropes. And, you know, hey, you gotta do something because I sure do hate that Sephiroth guy, so this will help me get stronger so I can beat him up. And now we have a different Cloud that's sad.
I wouldn't even
He's
say
clearly,
he's sad. Like,
you know,
he's a little more angsty than he used to be.
I mean, he's definitely more upset because all he knows is like he's a boot camp kid. Like all he knows is growing up in like a military base, sort of like because he didn't really have a childhood. So
Well, no, he had
left.
a childhood. He grew up in Nibelheim with Tifa.
Yeah,
And he just,
but, like,
he left at 14, and he was dedicated to becoming a soldier.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So like that's like, you know, we've all met that type of person where like they were just some guy and then they left to join the army and then they came back and like army was the only thing they knew.
True.
You know, and now he's like angsty and like, well, he had to go through this supposedly big change to become a first class soldier. You know, like he had to sacrifice time on the clock to do that.
True. But I mean, if
And
you think about it, like, he left when he was 14. The original game said that he's 21 during the events of the game. Tifa saw him 5 years ago, so he was a soldier, according to like the timeline, 2 years after leaving his home.
yeah,
Like,
so
that's still significant time, but like,
yeah, so now we have this new character. The Cloud that everyone grew up with was this plucky, big sword wielding dude. He's like, I'm gonna fight for what's right. I'm gonna fight for the Earth because I'm the hero. And now we have some jaded boot jackass that's all about fuck you, pay me. You know, that is Cloud's motto number one is fuck you, pay me.
so
Where's my damn
funny
money?
that you mentioned this, because right before we started recording, I'd finished a mission for an old man who's like, "Hey, my wife's dead. There's
Yes.
monsters in this graveyard.
This is exactly what I was thinking. Yeah.
Then
So
he's like, "Oh, okay,
yeah.
cool. I've got the graveyard key. I'll go do what you need me to." I go, I kill those monsters, which were actually really fucking hard. Like, fuck those things.
Oh yeah, I know. I
Yeah.
saw Wilson
Yeah.
get his ass kicked by him.
And
Yeah, those were
then
hard,
he comes back
hardcore.
and
Yeah.
he's like, "Hey, listen, I killed the monsters. Here's the graveyard key. Take it to the kid that I bought it from." And the old man's like, "You just heard me
'Cause,
talk
you know-
about like how I can't make it to the graveyard anymore." He's like, and Cloud's like, "All right, well, I'll take it, but 5,000 gil." And I'm just like, "Cloud, no. What?"
It's like, oh, you want me to do another fetch quest for you? Pay me.
And I'm just like, and so this actually kind of goes into something else I wanted to bring up. The environment. Like, looking around the Sector 5 slums, and you see the environment, none of these motherfuckers have 5,000 gil just laying around for a merc.
Oh yeah, like they are in like the Brazilian favelas, you know.
Right? Like, maybe Aerith
But
and
everybody
Elmira,
seems so friendly
because
there.
have you seen Aerith's
Of
house?
course.
But like,
Oh yeah, like
by far,
That house is
my favorite
amazing.
location so far in the game.
oh my
That
god, I took so many screenshots.
I
it
keep
looks
going
so
back
amazing.
just to turn my camera around and get a panoramic view of everything because it just looks so fucking beautiful.
Yeah. So that's actually something I wanted to talk about is that when you start this game, everything looks amazing. Like there's like the streets are kind of wet, so they give off this bit of reflection, like cinematically, and there's smoke from the train, and you see the griminess of like the corporatized shithole, like future city that you're living in. And everything looks great, and the models look great. Like you can see the sweat coming off of people's faces, and Cloud's looking there all handsome and shit. And then you look at Barrett, and he's this big, chocolatey mass of muscle and hair. Like you can see his like chest hair, and like he's like, oh god, this game looks great. And Wilson, I bet this looks amazing on your 4K TV.
Oh,
Trust
it
me,
does.
It
It
look
does.
amazing on a 4K
Yeah,
TV.
like I'm sitting here wishing I could have gone to the store when I wanted to, and well, time makes fools of us all, I
Like-
suppose. But then you get to the slums, and the slums look like dog shit, both environmentally designed wise, which is a great thing, but also asset wise. I'm thinking this is a bug. From what I've been told, this this isn't correct, and the patch should be on its way at some point, because you'll look around and some of these things look like PS2 graphics.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've run into that a couple times, and I kind of get it, but at the same time, it's like they were focusing on this game for so long.
Yeah, so you can see where kind of maybe they cobbled together some stuff from the old game that was made by CyberConnect 2. Which, side note, dear CyberConnect, you're done with the Digimon games and you got kicked off of Final Fantasy VII. Listen, guys, the thing that's really in right now is cyber VR video game fantasies. So, I don't know, maybe make another dot hack game? Huh? Yeah? Come on. So, yeah, I mean, you're in the slums, and, like, the sheet metal's not, like, fully loading in texture. People are kind of popping into, like, existence as you're walking, and that's a little
I have not
bad.
experienced that, actually.
I'm seeing it all the time on your streams. Oh,
It
yeah.
is?
You're just not noticing. Oh, yeah. They're just popping into reality as you're walking towards them.
Well, they're already there when I'm playing on
yeah,
the TV.
like-
Maybe it's just my streaming connection.
No. It's clearly the video game.
Yeah, no, Wilson, it's definitely there. You're probably no offense, Wilson. You're probably seeing things through rose-colored glasses. Is all.
Wait, repeat that? I didn't hear you.
Yeah, you cut out.
Oh, sorry. I said you're probably seeing things through rose-colored glasses. Is all.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. I'm noticing a lot.
Yeah, that's probably right.
Like Cloud's save room, his apartment building looks both like great design wise, but also some of the assets, like sometimes you look at that bed and it looks like it's made out of PS1 pixels.
Oh yeah, the door too.
And then other times it looks fine. So, but that's just the slums. Like when you're playing like the game and you're driving through like a tunnel, or like you're in the train, like the subway yard, everything looks amazing. But then you go back to the slums and it's like cobbled together assets. And I don't know why this is. But, hey, that's video games for you, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
and like
they did their best.
And that's the
Yeah.
thing. Nobody's taking that away from Square because, like, nobody expected
Yeah.
this game to be as good as it is.
So I'm fully expecting that in the next console, when they're about ready to bring out the part 2 of this, it's going to be probably a PS5 upgrade to this game, so you can see it like a lot better. They're probably going to fix some stuff, patch some things out, and then of course, whatever they're going to. I don't know if you're going to have a save data transfer or if it's going to go, you should be at this level, so we're going to start you at this level, type of thing. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's go back to the beginning. Let's talk about this game from point one. The second you get off that train, I got hit right in the face because I thought we were still in a cutscene.
Oh.
I was like, oh, okay. I was expecting, like, a battle prompt to show up and go, select your move. Do you want to attack? Do you want to do focus slash? Do you want to shoot him with magic? Nope. Just, I'm getting shot right now. Crap. I should probably listen to that prompt that came up. So that goes, oh, wow, okay, so this is just the graphics. You're going to get a slight downgrade once you get into the game at times. But then, no, everything looks like that. And you just go. Like, there's no turn-based combat. That it's all like Dissidia.
Oh no! Don't tarnish this game's name with that.
Oh, okay. Well, that's the thing that everyone compared it to. But yeah, no, like it's amazing.
So I keep stopping while I'm streaming just to look at how great everything looks.
I'm sorry. Repeat that. You cut out.
Oh, sorry. I was saying I keep stopping while I am streaming just because I keep finding myself in awe at how great everything looks. And
oh yeah,
I'm very excited to go through my Twitch highlights and pull just screenshots of the first time I summoned Ifrit. Oh my god.
That was an awesome moment for me too.
And then the first time I have Cloud, Tifa, and Barret side by side in a cutscene, I almost lost it. I'm searching right now for a good picture of the three of them together.
Oh yes, there's a moment where you're back in the slums after meeting Aerith for the first time, and you're sitting there. And you get up to a certain part in this old town that's been abandoned. And you realize, oh, there used to be other shit here. And that all went away for this city, of the future. And then you look over and you go, oh, I'm actually kind of 5 stories up off the ground. And then you look and you see this massive, gigantic Goliath of a city hovering 300 like 2 miles above your head, and you're just struck with this awe, like, I am a fucking ant down here. And then for people who and then you look and you see these pipes. And you see these eye beams jutting out, and you go, this isn't finished. And you realize, you've been going through this entire game, and you're seeing construction planks and tarps and mortar everywhere. And you go, this city is constantly being built and expanded. This is this unfinished thing, so eventually it's going to be this world encompassing like behemoth, you know? And you're sitting there and you're in awe because like birds are flying above your head, you know, real high, and they're not even touching like the base
The upper city.
of the upper city. And then you at one point you get down to like the lowest section of that city, and you're looking down at the slums, and you're fighting like, you know, monsters on this thing, and you realize like there is no organic life up here other than whatever can sneak its way up, like insects and rats. And the only reason why these are any problem up here is due to the fact that the city monsterfied these regular animals that just came up here with the humans. It's fucking amazing. You having problems there, Matt?
No, just muted my mic for a second. Dog was barking.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so Wilson,
Yes.
I want to know. Okay, so you beat 7. You beat you're a little farther than the both of us. All right.
And I am enjoying the hell out of this game, like we all are.
Okay, so Wilson, so you've been sitting there and you've been playing this game the longest. I've been watching mostly you play, in between shifts at work.
Well, no, because of the situation I am in,
Yeah,
I got
mean,
a
I
chance
know.
to play it.
Yeah. That's basically, for all intents and purposes, the both of you are the official LP for the channel. Since you played both of these, both the remake and the original, I can't help but wonder. You know what? You're in the Final Fantasy sphere. Let me put it that way. You've played Kingdom Hearts. You've watched the movies. Hell, you even watched that Spirit Within thing
Oh, dear God.
that came out years ago. That wait, be ready for that. That Let's Watch at some point. Buddy, explain to me, why are there Harry Potter Death Eaters in this game?
Why are there Harry Potter Death Eaters in this game?
Yeah.
I guess it's probably part of the new thing.
Yeah, it's part of the new
Yeah.
lore. There's nothing that Wilson or I could tell you yet.
I can't tell you much. All I can say is that the Death Eaters are probably innocent kids or people that probably lived somewhere in the past.
Yes, this seems like this is going to change this story. This is why it's called the. Is it called remake or is it called remastering?
It's called a remake, but I don't even
It
think
feels
that's
more like a
accurate.
reboot than a remake.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
a reboot, reimagining. Like,
Yeah. So, to anyone that's listening, unless you've turned this off, and God, I don't blame any of you. So it seems like, from what a lot of people are saying, is that this game really relies on people of playing the original, playing all the games that came with it, watching Advent Children, and playing Kingdom Hearts even to some extent, to know all the Final Fantasy VII lore, to
So-
understand
I gotta stop you there.
what's going on.
I have to say that this game does the exact opposite of that, because it changes things to a point that, like, Wilson and I, as like veterans of Final Fantasy VII lore,
Like
we don't even know what the
like,
hell's going on.
Sorry to cut you off. But I was gonna say, like, it basically, for a good maybe hour or two of the game, it'll throw you into familiar territory, and then the next hour or two you'll be thrown a curveball
it
and be
yanks
like,
you right
"Oh,
back
this is
out.
new."
Like, I don't know where the story's going. They've introduced like new key characters. One of which is my absolute favorite, the new soldier that they introduced, Roche.
Roche.
Listen,
He's
Okay.
pretty cool. He's
Listen.
pretty funny.
When I say that I've never hated the idea of a character and then absolutely turned around and loved the introduction so much that I was like sad to see him go.
Is he a key character? Because I only fought him the one time.
I mean,
Is he?
listen,
Me and
he's definitely going to be a bigger player because by the
Oh
time
yeah, with an intro like that, yeah.
by the time that the original Final Fantasy happened, all of their soldiers, all of their first class soldier characters were like no name, just like, oh hey, this is like a second class soldier. There were no first class soldiers left in the original Final Fantasy.
yeah,
Yeah. So what I remember, and this might be completely, this is just from like rumors that I heard throughout my life on the internet, is that Cloud and Sephiroth are pretty much the last of them. Like supposedly all these first class all died in some sort of war or something. And there must have been like a huge war or something to fight against like giant monsters, because if you're walking around like at some point, okay, you're going to have to stop muting your mic.
Gotcha.
At some point in the game, you're with Aerith and you're doing like a side quest somewhere. And you're walking around this like field that they have gated off normally because there's monsters that spawn there. And you look over and you see bullet casings of spent shells that are the size of Honda Civics. No. They have got to be the size of like train cars, almost. You know, like you could fit like 4 or 5 people in these things, and they're just littered and they're spent, and you're looking around for like guns or something, and you're not seeing that, and you're seeing like broken missiles, and you're seeing like destroyed tanks everywhere. And at one point, I really love this, there's a nice touch where you see 3 mech suits from like the first, like from Final Fantasy 2 or 3, I forget which.
Hello.
And you go, oh wait, yeah, like these are the things that you're like in at the beginning of that game. Is this connected or is this an Easter egg? And you realize like, yeah, probably an Easter egg.
Yeah.
Or just
the
shared
mech
technology.
suits.
Yeah, there's like, remember in Aliens when she gets in like the power lifter thing and like fights the queen at the end?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's they look like that.
Oh, you mean the 3 mech suits that you pass on the way
Yeah.
When
Yes.
you're with Aerith.
Yeah.
with Aerith through the shortcut?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and you see all this and go, what the fuck happened here?
See, Steve, I'm,
Yeah.
I'm loving this podcast right now because, like,
Like
a
you
lot
just
of this stuff.
you ignored all
yeah,
that.
No. Well, not even that. A lot of this stuff, like, I know a little bit more of like
Yep.
the older story beats and know what to expect, and like hearing
Yeah.
what you're experiencing for the first time, it's
Yeah, because
great
like I
because
like
you don't have
Yeah,
the
'cause I
previous
understand-
experience that Wilson and I
oh yeah,
have.
like because I understand that in this story there was war
Right.
of some kind. Like I know that Sephiroth killed like a gigantic fucking snake. I know that like, you know, well, he was a soldier, so there must have been some sort of conflict going around, probably with some like probably a resource war, you know.
Actually, yes. The
Actually-
Wutai War. They actually mentioned it a couple times by now
Yeah,
in the remake.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean it's I mean it was obvious that like, well, we got to be fighting over something.
Matt, if I'm correct, in the old lore, didn't wasn't Shinra, uh, didn't they go to war with Wutai and then they kind of stripped everything away from Wutai, which is why they were kind of a joke town whenever you went to see them or
Yes,
something.
basically. Like
Okay,
they made it
I
so
want.
that Wutai was basically helpless. Like Wutai does not want to rely on Shinra, so they rely on the fact that they're now a tourist attraction, basically. Like people go there to visit and see things, and
Oh,
it's a whole interesting concept that, like, unfortunately we won't get to see Wutai. I don't even think we'll get to see Wutai in the next game. I hope we do, but I
Yeah,
doubt it.
I, I mean,
that's another thing.
yeah.
No, go ahead.
Oh,
Go ahead. I'll get to my thought later.
oh. I was gonna say, yeah. Oh, wouldn't it make sense for them to put it in part two?
I mean,
Because
a lot
technically,
of things would make sense, Wilson, but
I mean, I
this is
don't know the
not
ending
our
of this
Final
game.
Fantasy. Exactly. Like, this isn't our Final Fantasy.
True.
Well, to be fair to everyone who's going like, well, this isn't like the story I remember. The story we remember is technically the Cliff Notes version of what they could make.
Right,
Like
right. And
they had like 4 or 5 books worth of material that they wanted to do, but I mean, it's on the PS1. What can you expect?
right, but they've also came out and said, like, they're changing things.
Oh yes,
So,
well
I mean,
they've had 20 years to think about this world.
yeah, and like they touched on like the compilation stuff, like Crisis Core, Dirge of Cerberus, stuff like that, will be touched
Oh yeah,
upon in this game.
I imagined like all of that was going to be crammed in there
Right,
somehow. You
and
know.
it's going to be touched upon in this new series of Final Fantasy VII,
The
but it's
only
not going to
oh,
be the same as what it once was. Things are
Oh
going
yeah,
to change
obviously.
because now they can expand on things that they weren't able to do before. Like,
That and it's been 20 years,
yeah,
so the world's changed. So some stuff you can't do anymore.
right. But there's also the
And
fact that
and,
like
and
we're not limited by the technology that was available back then. We actually have so
yeah.
much more that we can do now with video games, and it makes it so that they can expand the story for Final Fantasy VII the way that uh, Nomura wants to. Which,
So,
go ahead.
wait, yeah, no, go ahead.
Which that's for a lot of people that's not what they want because they are purists. Air quotes there.
You can always go back to the original
Yeah,
game.
exactly. Like, that's fine. Stick with the original game then. Let
Like
people who want to see
literally,
progress experience this and
yeah. Like
love it.
I mean, for like $14, I can play it on my phone if I want it.
I've bought it
um,
There's
on
nothing.
every single thing except my phone. I have it on my. I bought it on Xbox. I bought it on PlayStation 3.
Which that's kind of a weird thing is Xbox, and I thought this was gonna come out for Xbox for some
I think
reason.
it's a
It's
time exclusive. There's nothing
yeah,
like
it'll come out for PC
Square
and
has not
Xbox
said
next
that
year.
yet. Square hasn't said
okay
that
because
yet.
like I heard the words time exclusive recently, but I think that was for
Sorry.
Modern Warfare 2 remastered on PlayStation being timed, and it'll come to Xbox later, like in a month.
Yeah.
I think that's what that was about. I think this is a PlayStation exclusive because I haven't seen anything about it being on Xbox, but they haven't strictly said that it wasn't, so they might
I
eventually.
don't know. See, like,
Because it seems like Sony would back this with money.
right. But the thing is, I can't
So,
see too many games in the future going forward staying exclusive. There's too much
well,
money to be
let me
made
put it
out
this
there.
way. It probably won't be on the Xbox, but it might be on the PC.
But what would be the point then? Because PC is also run by Microsoft.
Well, it was just be the fact that it wouldn't have the words Xbox on it.
True, true. But
That's all.
my thing is,
Um,
Final Fantasy stopped being a PlayStation only thing years ago.
Oh yeah, for
Like
sure. That's why it wouldn't surprise me, but at the same time, 7 would feel weird because it was only on the
So
PlayStation.
was Kingdom Hearts before, but now all the Kingdom Hearts are available on Xbox.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's why
Yeah.
that's up there. So,
Uh,
side note, so I absolutely love the aesthetic. Like, because before, this was made in 1997, so we went based off the technology in the diesel punk look that we had, that we were familiar with, of like having a black and white television and like, with the wood paneling on there, and like everything was like all beat up, chewed up oak wood, and made out of like sheet metal. And I just love this 90s aesthetic of like this tech that they have, and everything's like a hunk of shit robot. Because now when we think of like advanced tech, we're thinking of like Iron Man flying around in his power suit, and like we have there's a phone out there that you can stretch into a tablet and then push back in to a phone. Like we have magic now. But then you go back to Final Fantasy VII, and it's just like, yeah, here's my like standard def TV that I have in my rat infested hovel. And then you go up to like the upper city, and it's like some kid that looks like a 1920s newsie riding his like 50s style bike down the street, and his mom's like, I just bought a colored TV because we have money from the nuclear plant. And I just love this aesthetic, you know?
Yeah, like
yeah. No,
not so
continue.
much the
Yeah.
aesthetic, but something that I'm absolutely loving, and I loved in the original game, is the music.
Oh, the music is so good.
My very first stream
Oh, yeah.
for this game, I actually freaked out because the original game had a track called Electric de Chocobo, which was like the sort of funky surfing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the
like
surfer
the hip.
version of
Yeah,
Is it the
Chocobos.
hip hop
the
thing?
hip hop one. You guys know me.
Oh
I
my
don't
God,
really
dude.
care for hip hop, but I fucking love the hip hop to Chocobo remix.
Oh, yeah. No, I usually don't like most of that, but like I was bumping to it.
Like, it's so good. And like,
Honestly,
there's a lot of other tracks that were reworked and remade, and they've got like a different spin on them. But they also have the original tracks too. And
I
I'm
gotta
loving
say,
collecting the different music tracks throughout the game. Sorry, Wilson.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
no, you're fine. I gotta say, my favorite track that I came across so far is the one for Cosmo Canyon.
Oh yeah,
I haven't heard that one yet, but it's all been like amazing.
Like,
and
it has a sweet.
Yeah, go
it's
ahead.
all. It's remade in all sweet guitar riff. Like,
yeah, like I think like the music is amazing because it's everything that you remember plus more, and they took a lot of the tracks that you remember hearing, and they did them multiple different times to different like beats per second. So if you're hearing that music and one scene, it's a very somber moment, you're hearing it slowed down. And then once it gets back to neutral in game, then you're hearing it kind of like neutral as the background playing music. And then you walk 10 feet and you're in a fight, and it's the same song, but now it's like really rapid and battle ready, and it's real jazzed up, and it's all the same song playing, and it's going without skipping a beat into all these different versions of itself to fit the narrative of that moment.
yeah, I really
You
like
know,
that. That's a really
and
neat effect that they put in the game.
and I think that's why this game is fucking 100 gigs.
Yep.
Did I mention it took 3 days to download this thing?
Jesus.
Yeah.
Damn, it took an hour for me.
Yeah, like
Well, that's
if
because
that for
you were
me.
installing it. Well, did you download it or install it?
I
Yes.
installed it. I bought the physical copy.
I
Matt?
downloaded it.
Yeah, okay. It took 3 fucking days. And I have okay internet, so I don't know what went wrong with me.
I don't know, but
But I was,
you always end up having like a long time that you have to download stuff.
I don't know, maybe I have like a bad like connection to like something. I don't know. Maybe my network's clogged up. I don't know.
Hey, Matt.
But like, yeah, go.
Oh, my question, Matt. For the old lore, I don't know if this is correct or not, but I could be wrong. But isn't, from what I understand, isn't pretty much the old canon is across of all the games that they released after Advent Children, right?
Wait, what?
So you cut out.
Sorry. My question is, from what I understand, from what I understand, Advent Children Cloud is the canon cloud that we had in Kingdom Hearts.
No.
No.
Kingdom Hearts Cloud and Cloud that appears in like other video games is a completely different like that's more of what the current Cloud is based on, but it's still different. Like his
Yes.
angst is like cranked up to 20 something. Whereas like original Cloud's kind of goofy. Kind of just like a dumb 21-year-old who
Yeah.
tries to be cool. And like in
Yeah.
this game, they hit that right on the head. They hit the nail on the head with that.
Yeah.
I see.
Like,
All right.
yeah, like old Cloud that we knew, he's like I'm 21. I just got out of the army, so I know how to swing a sword real good. I'm hot shit, bro, and I'm gonna help my friend out and be cool.
Yeah, and
like pick up chicks. And this one is okay. The fucking VA hasn't sent me my goddamn disability check yet, so fuck you, pay me.
yeah.
All
And
right, I'm a fucking gun for
here's
hire.
the thing, like I earlier we were talking about like how Cloud's all about the money and how he's kind of a dick about it.
Oh yeah, because
I
well,
kind
like
of
the thing is,
prefer that.
it's definitely because like they're going for something. Like Cloud before was just some dude that knew how to swing a sword, which I mean he was in the military, so that changes the person. So they kind of ignored that. To then, oh, I have this friend and this girlfriend. To, I'm sad now, and then just being a sad guy dealing with all
Yeah,
of his PTSD.
we had Sad Cloud in
And
Kingdom
Advent
Hearts 2, I
Children.
think.
Yeah, so now we have this guy who's jaded because
He knows he's the
something
shit.
happened. Well, like he knows that he's got skills, but all he knows is the military, and he's jaded because the military fucked him. You know,
Yeah.
clearly he's suffering through something because he's constantly having these headaches and these nom flashbacks to we don't know what.
Well, keep
But
in
we
mind,
know that-
they actually tell you exactly what's going on with him. Well, not
Yeah,
exactly.
like they know that
But
this Sephiroth guy, this Sephiroth guy did him dirty, and he had to murder this guy who was his hero. Clearly something happened in his past that, as of the story right now, we're not aware of. I'm sure everything that we're talking about makes more sense later on, but again, we're only at chapter 9, the lot of us.
Yep.
So you have this person to go to now that like this guy, he doesn't know anything about women. He just knows to stab something and take and loot the corpse for money. That's all he knows. You know? That was his education into the adult world. So now he's hanging out with his childhood best friend and the horniest woman ever invented.
look, I
Jessie.
don't even care. Jessie is
yeah.
best girl.
Jesus Christ, this woman is thirsty.
Well,
One time.
like, pay attention. You
is,
have to pay
is
attention
she though?
because she's
Yeah.
actually not.
Yeah.
Like,
Is she though?
she's not. She's
yeah,
an
no,
actress, and it's the
she's
best thing
literally
ever.
She's
literally
amazing.
blue balling you for shits and giggles, and it's fucked up.
It's perfect. It's what Cloud needs. And honestly,
Yeah.
I can't even attribute Cloud like softening up to Tifa. I have to attribute it to Jesse because Jesse is the one.
Oh no, it's all of them. It's literally
true.
This guy. It's the idea that the reason why we have gentle people in our life, like friends and especially love interests, people that we love, like women, like romantic love or brotherly love, like with Barrett and the little dog guy, Red 13.
Avalanche time.
These connections like romance and bromance soften us from this hard shell of a dickhead into a functioning human that like believes in something. And that's the point, is that like a good woman and a good friend will help you through the darkest of times. Even if your planet is coming to an end, at least you got people by your side to die with. And that's what, that's what Cloud needs, because as far as we know, he's not talking about his home life. He apparently killed some dude. Some other guy died. We don't know. He's had kind of a rough go of it, so he's kind of a hardened-ass dick. But then you get to scenes like the old man. Now, I love that idea of fuck you, pay me, that he was throwing out there. Mm-hmm. But what you guys didn't realize is, do you know why he was a dickhead to that guy?
Because that's all he knows.
I do.
For right now?
No. That's what you want to think. No. The guy was like, oh, my wife died. I'm so sad because I'm an old man. I'm going to die soon and my body's a piece of shit and I can't do anything. And then Cloud pissed him off. Well, now this guy's full of fire and he's like, oh, I'll fucking show you. I'll go and give this kid my fucking key and I'll keep working out of fucking spite, you young bastard. He got this guy out of his old funk,
Fair enough.
And that's a very trope, especially in Japanese stuff, of like, you're a dick on purpose to get the old codger to stop having a pity party.
Funnily enough, I was just watching earlier today the episode of Dragon Ball Super where Vegeta's fighting the Saiyan from Universe 6, and he's like, well, you know what? You can't do anything right. You can't even go Super Saiyan, so I'm going to go to your planet, and I'm going to kill your family. And the Saiyan got pissed and was like, no, you're not. So it's just like that.
Yeah, it's a very Japanese trope of spite, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, I think that's why Western audiences love Japanese-made like shows and all that, because we relate so much of like, yeah, fuck you aspects of things. Right. Very much. It's very much in that Western spirit of like, oh, I'll show you. Empires have been built in this country out of spite.
What I want to say is like from the old PS1 Final Fantasy VII story, the only game that I have probably 0 to no knowledge about is the Before Crisis game.
That one's the one that follows Denzel, right? The one from Advent.
Before Crisis, the background story for that is it follows the Turks versus Avalanche.
Okay.
See, so that is something where I only know about the Turks from 7 and the movie of like, okay, so this is like a rival faction
for soldier.
This is like this is some sort of group of people, and I thought the Turks were like, oh, this is like a race of people that like specialize in some sort of trade.
I thought they were a
Like, that's what I
mercenary
thought.
group for the longest time.
Yeah, well, I think they are in, I want to say 8?
No, there's 7 lore specifically.
I could have swore that, like, the Big and Wedge that show up in 8, which are completely different characters. Excuse me, that share the same, because they're like a running joke in the universe. There's always like a Big and Wedge that pop up and do something.
They're part of Yalbadia, which is it's the nation that's led by the sorceress, which is the main antagonist of 8.
Yeah, and they're just like some goofball mercs that are just like, oh, gee willikers, I want to talk to that pretty lady over there.
Yeah.
Or something.
They're
that's all I
soldiers,
remember.
Basically. They're
Yeah, I thought they were like a part of the Turks or something, but it's been forever. I was in like the 7th grade when I played that. All I remember is shooting someone from a clock tower, Kennedy style, and or JFK style. Yeah. So, yeah, like this game, like it's totally different, but at the same time, it's everything that you want it, and it's beautiful. And the dog agrees with me.
Apparently, the dog is very.
Yes, I know. I'm excited for the game too.
The game's really good. Like, I'm having a blast with it.
You know.
So,
So that's kind of our opinion. Now we don't really have much more to say now, do we?
I mean, no, there's tons more that we can say. Like,
yeah,
we
like,
can go over, like, for instance, what is your favorite part in this game so far?
my favorite part, my favorite part so far, I gotta say my favorite part is from when you meet. I gotta say it's when you see more of Jesse, Biggs, and Wedge,
Okay.
because the original game never really touched on that, so I felt kind of nothing for them, like I guess most people, and I really like the fact that they fleshed out those characters more.
Yeah, it is really nice, like,
Oh,
getting
for
to
sure.
see their backstories and stuff. Like, I was kind of caught off guard the fact that we went to Jesse's parents' house, and then, like, just that whole section.
Yeah,
It painted a
'cause-
better picture of Jesse as a character for me.
Yeah, because honestly, like they were just like fodder.
Right.
yeah.
Like when the part in the original where they die, which I don't even know if they will die in this game. You know,
I hope not. I like them too much.
I mean, because like by people saying like, oh, this ending is so different, maybe they get sucked into a black hole for all I know. You know, they were just cannon fodder. They're like, oh, this sucks that these dudes are dying, but I have no idea who you are. You were just some background guy that was helping me. To now being like, oh, Jessie was like an actress, and because her dad got sick from working at Shinra, she became a terrorist, and you know, Wet and Biggs is doing this because, like, Biggs now is based off of Charlie Sheen from like Commando, you know.
Kind of looks like him too.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. And then Wedge is
This
Badger from Breaking Bad, which I love. It's beautiful casting, by the way. I love that. And he's just like, well, I just want to, save the world. Like, he's the purest character. He just wants. I just want the planet to be saved.
That's all he wants, bro.
Yeah, him and his 3 cats.
And I know this means that he's gonna get like executed in like the town square by Sephiroth.
I was so sad when he got shot during that one mission. Because
Wait, what?
when you're when you meet Roche, like the mission while you're visiting Jesse's parents.
Oh yeah, and he gets like bit.
Yeah, well, he also got shot.
No, he just got bit.
He got shot too.
Wait, Roche got shot?
No,
No,
Wedge got shot.
Wedge.
Oh, Wedge got shot. Oh yeah,
No.
he did. That is right.
No, because what I remember is like he got bit in the butt, and it was a comedy thing.
But then,
and they're like, "Oh my god!"
The other eco terrorists come in. That's all I'm gonna say. The other eco terrorists come in. They say Biggs was shot. It's not fatal, but I was freaking out.
Oh no! Like, because like they check him, and it's like, oh no! Like, dude, your ass is fine. You just got a little burnt from like the hellhound. And he's like, oh no, that's a gunshot. I'm like, no, you're just a pansy that can't take it. But for a big dude, he can run like a motherfucker.
Yeah. As long as he's full, he can run.
Oh yeah, so like I love the fact that they got the guy who played Badger, from Breaking Bad to I keep blanking on his name, something Jones. I think Tom Jones.
I would check, but my phone is dead.
Yeah.
Wait, no, it's not.
And it was perfect casting for that. I really love that they're characters and like you're learning more about them. But I know that means that at some point they're gonna.
Don't say it.
It's gonna.
Don't say it.
Like it's gonna hurt
Don't
when
say it.
they get taken from you.
He said it.
I don't know if that means that they're going to be killed. Where like I don't know if they're gonna redo the part where like we explode, and like pieces of like Midgar come down, because obviously we're going to need some reason for us to get thrown out of Midgar, or maybe like, oh, they were actually betraying you the whole time for money or something, because people are like not cool with the ending, and I don't know what the ending is.
Yeah, I keep hearing people don't like the ending of this game.
I hear that people don't like they're fine with the ending. They're just like not sure how to feel about like going forward. There's a lot of uncertainty around the game.
Because they're like, well, what happens if they don't make part 2? And it's like, guys, come hell or high water, part 2 is going to be like made. Like, we're in like one of the most uncertain times of history in the last 100 years, and this thing sold like hotcakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a part 2.
And a part 3.
Yeah.
I'm 100% sure there's going to be a part 2 and part 3. I don't know anything else beyond that.
I'm kind of more curious about part 2 and part 3, because so far this is a pretty linear, RPG.
Yeah, part 2 and 3 is going to
like
most likely be more open worldish.
Sort of. Once you leave Midgar, you have the entire world to explore.
Yep.
Yeah, so what does that mean? Does that mean that we're going to have more traditional grinding points, or are we going to go, okay, first we're going to go here, and that's going to be like 2 hours, 3 hours, and then we're going to go to this spot, and that's going to be 2 to 3 hours, Or is it going to be more like Final Fantasy 15, where your bros get in a car and you drive all around these areas?
I mean, you do get a car in the original.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they added the car.
Okay, so in the original, do you have the car technically once you leave Midgar, and they just don't show it because you're just walking around the map?
I forget exactly when you get.
I forget how you earn the car, but no, you're on foot for a while.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're on foot for a while because I remember that
because the whole thing is you have to get past the Midgar Zolom and.
Because I know that, like, okay, so we drive out of Midgar in the original one on a motorcycle, and you have, like a Humvee or something.
A truck, yeah. Everybody's in the truck, Cloud's on the bike.
Yeah, and I figured, okay, that's just our mode of transportation, is that's just how we're traveling, and just and it's just easier to just use a walking sprite to show that rather than
No.
building another car. And then you get the chocobo or something to like go over water, which apparently I just saw a photo of people using a chocobo underwater in another Final Fantasy game, and I didn't know chocobos could do that.
Chocobos can do anything.
Yeah,
They're
it looks
magical
weird
birds.
seeing it's seeing a chocobo underwater is weird.
But yeah, you need the chocobo to get across the sand because you have to worry about, because at this point your party's too weak to fight the snake unless you grind it a lot
Yeah, which
to get to
I
the
wonder
cave.
how.
But no.
And boy, do I want to see that fight.
Listen, that's what I'm really excited about for the next
What,
game.
the snake?
Well, no, not even just the snake. Like, we've been fighting enemies that are, stuck under the plates.
Yeah.
What happens when we have the entire world and, like, we run into, let's say, not even the Zolam, but, like, the dragon outside of Nibelheim that Sephiroth kills?
Yeah,
I don't
and that
think I
thing
ever
was
ran
massive.
into that.
Well, you can run into them, but it's mostly during a cutscene.
Oh wait, no.
Hold on, you cut
Did I?
out.
Oh. You can run into the dragon, but it's mostly during a cutscene that you see it. You have
Yeah.
to actually search for it once
Yeah,
you
I mean-
get to Nibelheim.
Once you okay.
Yeah,
Is,
like in contrast, like in Final Fantasy 15, you fight this huge snake thing, But even then, it's a big snake, but it's like not to the scale that this thing is in 7, where like this thing in 7 is like towering above you.
if you're
You know.
yeah, the snake, I would compare it to the giant mountain you face in 15.
No, it's nothing like the Adamantoise in 15.
Yeah,
It's nothing
so
like
I mean,
that.
we have seen fights to this scale in just like the last game, 15. But to see like that and like
Oh, I can't wait for the weapon fights.
That's
I wonder what
that
those
is
are
what
going to
I
be
mean.
like.
Like the weapon fights that I can see comparing that to the Adamantoise fight, because the weapons are these huge hulking monsters that can destroy a city just by like walking through it. Like
Yeah.
they have the fucking the cannon that's in the one city, Junon.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a big cannon that you have to collect the huge materials from, and it's so much energy just to damage one. It doesn't even like. I think it takes 2 shots to kill it. Whenever whenever Shinra did that, but like that, I would say is on the scale of the Adamantoise. The Zolam, I would say. I don't think there's anything in recent Final Fantasies that's. Oh no,
Yeah.
that's like fighting Leviathan.
yeah,
There
yeah.
we go.
It's a like, and that brings me to like the environmental scale of like in the original Final Fantasy, you leave Midgar at some point, and you don't ever really get to figure out the scale of Midgar because to you it's no different than being in like New York, and then being in like Bumtown next to New York.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see that scale. In this game, you see that scale, but like later on, you go to this town that has a giant cannon pointing into the sea for like some sort of defense, and that thing's massive looking, But yeah, you've seen cannons like that, kind of like in other things, Like, so you don't see it as that big. I bet when we get to that, it's going to be like this hulking monstrosity that's like a city block size,
Oh yeah.
like a Death Star on a mountainside, Because like in this game, trash sitting around like this old world town there are spent shells the size of houses. You know?
Yeah.
You could repurpose this, and then you realize, like, my God, the things in this world that exist that would have to, like, that you would need that to kill, you know?
I'm
Like, you're like,
no, continue, sorry.
no, so, and then you're thinking, okay, well, damn, this is a big thing of copper. And, you know, like, I've shot guns all my entire life. So, like, I know, like, okay, so your average, like, 9mm has this type of copper casing, and or brass casing. And you go, okay, well, you know, and my dad's always bitching about, you know, like, how much he's paying for lead and brass and all that stuff to make, you know, ammunition. I'm just thinking, like, the amount of resources that we had to mine just to make one bullet is mind-boggling. And you go, no wonder, like, everyone's living in this shithole slums and all that, because, like, we're just depleting everything in this never-ending quest to make, like, these hulking giant cities and these hulking giant displays of, like, war strength, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what. And we got anything more to say?
Oh,
I'm
trust me, I could talk about this all night. Like,
All right, well,
there's
let's go for a little more, because we're getting a little bit long in the tooth
okay.
here.
Well,
Oh.
let's hear what your favorite thing is about the game.
yeah.
Mine?
Because we asked Wilson, we'll do you.
Yeah, I said
so-
mine.
Do me.
So my favorite part of this game was, so far, like I said, we're only in chapter 9. We've only just met
Well-
Aerith, so that's, well, yeah, well, like, I'm in, like, chapter 8.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I just met Aerith at the church and all that. Mine is probably just seeing how much of a fucking terrorist you are. because like, you know, like, when I was a kid, you know, you blow that up, and I was like, oh my, dude, I blew up, like, a nuclear power plant. When I was a little kid, I was like, whatever, you know, that's the bad guy's lair. Oh, I only killed bad people, right? And then I got a little older, and then, you know, I watched The Simpsons and saw what a nuclear power plant is, and I get to, like, 15, and I try and replay this game, and I do the Midgar section and go, no, like, I blew up, like, a power plant, like people lost power. Like, people are sitting there in the dark, not knowing what's going on. And then 9/11 happened. And I saw what happens when 2 buildings that aren't connected to a massive power grid go down in a big city. And I go, oh, wow, that's,
Significant.
oh boy. And then I see this remaster, and we see just how bad that is. Because, again, for a lot of people, they just watched the Chernobyl miniseries, you know? And we've seen the horrible acts of war all over for the last 20-something years, all over the world. So, like, we know. So now you're sitting there, and you're walking through a city street, and people are huddled together, and just chunks of rebar and concrete are coming all over the damn place, crushing people to death. And there's fire everywhere, and just everyone is just crying and panicking, and people are, like, little kids are crying for their mom, you know? And you just go, holy fucking shit, what did I do?
Well, once again, I kind of got to step in there because, like, I think you're still forgetting, like, it's not us
Oh,
that
yes,
did, like...
Oh, I mean, it is Shinra.
Yeah,
Shinra ultimately did this for their own purposes of, like...
Setting us up.
Like, we can't really know what would have happened with just the bomb.
So, but still, like, well, why... We are fundamentally why it blew up.
Right.
we were there. Like, as far as we know, as far as Cloud knows, he just did this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And as far as we know, he doesn't really give a shit.
No. Have you seen the
Because
guy?
he's broken. He's
He
broken.
does
And by
not.
the way, it's a good thing he doesn't give a shit about anything, because the way people talk to him and Barrett is like some jackass in a suit like pretty much tells them to go fuck themselves, and is like, dude, I have a 9-foot sword and this guy has a fucking 50 cal machine gun on him. Do you really want to fuck with us right now? You and your fucking $400 businessman suit. Really? Go home and eat your ramen and cry to your love pillow. Because I'm about to cut you in half, bud.
So,
All right.
So,
I actually have a couple things that I absolutely love about this game.
Yeah.
First and foremost, and I've been waiting to say this, Aerith did a swore.
oh yeah, she said shit, didn't she?
I
Yeah.
loved it.
And I literally saw.
"What?
I was like,
Our precious
Church
little
girl can't say
cinnamon bun
that.
just did a swore. Like, I wasn't
Yeah.
prepared
Wait,
for it at all.
she- But no, like, she actually does swear a lot. She's like, ah, fuck, like when she gets hit,
Right.
I'm like, oh,
Like, this is not what I'm used to. I did not expect this.
yeah, because she's like supposed to be the pure maiden, and that's why she's the contrast.
I love
to,
her
like, Tifa's,
quirkiness.
like, yeah, like, because she used to be like, oh, I'm the pure church girl. I'm like, like your innocent maiden for the hero to love.
And I also know
that's why-
everything that you do.
And that's why Tifa's like the exact opposite of like, hey, look at me, I'm gonna pour whiskey in my tits, drink up, boys. And you go, ah, cool. I love this violent woman who punches me.
Yeah,
And that's why they were such a great pair.
absolutely. And then my second thing is, and I'm surprised we didn't talk about this the entire time we've been recording,
Oh.
the reworked combat.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Like,
I
I
wanted
love
to get
it.
to that.
I did not think I would enjoy it as much. I was like, oh, they're going to make it so that we can still play turn-based, which they said, but I don't think they realized what
Yeah,
they were
well,
trying
so-
to say.
Technically, they
They-
did.
No, they didn't.
Technically.
They did
They said and they showed it back when CyberConnect was
Working on it,
still
yeah.
working on it. It's like, oh, perfect, because like I the same reason why I haven't ever played Kingdom Hearts is because the hack and slash type of thing I don't really mesh well with. I like to be able to sit there and go, okay, what do I do? I guess lightning. Oh, okay, they attacked me. Well, okay, I'll heal up. Now I'm running away from things going, heal, heal, heal. God damn it, why can't I heal? Why is it no one's turn to heal? So I love and hate the combat. I guess if it gets too bad for me, I'll just turn it to classic mode or something.
Yeah, and I mean, that's perfectly fine. I'm playing on normal, and I find that this game is giving me, like, the perfect challenge. Like,
Yeah.
I haven't
It
had
is,
a game
like,
over yet.
Oh.
And
I had one game over.
I've had two.
see, like, that's the thing.
And
It goes through
yeah.
and it gives you a good enough challenge where, like, especially, like, some of the bosses you fought at this point,
Yeah.
like, Airbuster was difficult. Airbuster was probably
yeah.
Actually,
the hardest fight.
Airbuster was easy for me, only for the simple
You know
fact
what,
that
Wilson?
I
Fuck you.
took away all of his missiles and add-on weapons, but I left the AI intact.
Yeah, like the
Oh,
AI,
see.
I was figuring that'll be fine. Like,
Yeah, I took all but one shell away.
same.
Should have taken all the shells.
He shot the
No,
shell
really-
at Cloud
You-
for me, but I was controlling Barrett at the time, so I didn't care.
Yeah, mostly my problem was the laser beam and then like the fire burst, and Tifa just could not stay alive during that fight. And she was mostly useless when it was like backing away. And I was like, oh good, so only Barrett can fight and only Cloud can fight when his gauge is up, so he can use lightning, and I guess Tifa's just gonna just sit there throwing potions at people. Cool, this works.
Yeah. But wait, so you did the same thing as me, Matt? Take away all the shells and
No, I
the.
did the same thing as Steve.
Yeah, I took
Oh,
all but one shell away because I knew that was gonna be the biggest
Yeah.
problem.
wait. Oh. So you took away the AI?
No.
I took away some of the AI, some of the other stuff, and most of the
Oh,
shells.
I did 3 of the big bomb shells, and then 2 of the M units, and that's it. That's all I did.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's pretty much what I did too.
Oh. I kind of did. Yeah. Like I said, I did the opposite. I took care of the big weapons that would harm me more. So I still
Yeah, you
struggled
took away
with
all
it,
the
but
shells. Oh yeah, it's still hard. But I did find that okay. So I went and I got. Yeah, I took the M units, so I could sell them, and I took the big bomb shells. So I had 2 big bomb shells. So I threw one
yeah.
during part of the fight.
That's right, I still have
So
those.
during that fight, he's floating in the air. So I go, okay, well, it's a video game. I'm going to throw it and it's going to explode on him. No. I throw the bomb and it just goes to the nothingness below. And I just wasted one. And that's amazing that you can just use something because the physics aren't there to support that.
Right.
It doesn't work.
But yeah, so that's what I did. I still have all of my missiles and extra parts. The downside is that they do 500 damage if I use them on an enemy, but I can't. They all sell for 1 gil. Unlike if you take away all the AI, you'll get like a whole bunch of money
yeah.
for it.
I got at least 2,000 from
Nice.
that.
Oh yeah, see that's the drawback that I have to deal with.
Yeah, well,
So-
but now you have something that can help you in a
Yeah.
pinch.
Yeah. So bringing it back around to the combat,
Yeah.
who do you guys find yourselves playing more as? Like, do you guys stick as Cloud, or do you guys move around a lot, change between the characters?
So I
No, continue, Steve.
you
You're
go
first.
ahead. No, you go ahead.
Me?
You go ahead.
Oh,
Yeah.
me? I find myself I swap on the fly. Like if I usually make Cloud do do something, and then I'll switch over to Aerith to get her ATB gauge up, and then I'll usually have her ice, and then I'll switch over to whoever else I have in my party at the time.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I'm finding that I'm doing that. I'm unfortunately sticking to Cloud a little bit too much because I'm kind of forgetting like, oh yeah, I should be switching, especially depending on situations. I tend to be using Barrett a bit more just because he can stay away and I'm not killing my people by not blocking stuff
Right.
as much. Since I've gotten Aerith, I'm having trouble with her
Really?
because she cannot take a
Oh,
punch
no, not at
right
all.
now.
But she's not supposed to.
Yeah, so I'm having trouble learning her style
Okay.
because before I had 3 people of like, fuck it, just run into it and just start beating the shit out of the thing. It's fine,
So,
you know.
for the longest time, I used Cloud. And then I started switching to other characters
you
because...
you blacked out there for a minute.
Who do you use?
Cloud.
Cloud.
Oh yeah,
And I started switching to others because I wanted to unlock everybody's different moves for their different weapons. So like I found myself playing more as my other characters than I was Cloud, because after leveling Cloud to level 20 before finishing chapter 4, I found myself, oh well, I'm way too overpowered. So let me start playing with these other characters and seeing what they can do. And like even right now with Aerith, I think I like her playstyle the most, because like with her, I can start combat as Cloud, and then switch to Aerith, and then like use Tempest as a way to just completely demolish enemies.
Yeah, see, I'm still trying to get the hang of Tempest. That's actually I've watched I watched one of my favorite YouTubers, and like I was watching him how he used Aerith and whatnot. Um and like I'm still having trouble trying to get Tempest's max power out, but I'm calling my brain stupid, but I figured out what her first ability does, which I wish I knew how to use her correctly, like way back when I was still on the part where you guys are at.
I'm also finding that like
sorry.
a lot of people who were playing as Cloud, they're not using Punisher mode enough. Like that is
I love Punisher mode.
Punisher mode is the best thing about this game.
I'm using it to crowd control like mercenaries,
Okay.
but I'm finding myself using it very sparingly.
Don't use it sparingly.
Especially for like
use it every chance you get.
no, I'm using it sparingly because most of the time I'm just soaking up damage anyways from like
Well,
robots
that's
or whatever.
exactly it. Like use Punisher mode and block, because Punisher mode
Yeah,
comes with that
can't-
counter, which is so much more effective than just attacking.
It is so helpful in battle.
You can block in Punisher mode.
Yeah, it's a counter. You just have to time it correctly, and he'll counterattack, and it'll also increase your enemy stagger gauge.
So yeah, I haven't been using it right.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like a lot
That-
of people don't realize what Punisher mode is built for.
Can I say something?
Yeah, absolutely.
I was watching you earlier, Matt. This brings me to I keep forgetting to ask, but what are you doing to make the Cloud's Buster Sword go red like that? Because I've never been able to do that.
Oh, just keep tapping.
Just keep tapping with the Buster Sword.
Yeah, tap at the right moment. Like
Tap square or triangle?
Square.
Square. Okay,
Just
it's a
watch
square
Cloud's
move.
movements when you're
It's
attacking
not-
in Punisher mode, and like you'll see like, oh, that's where he's supposed to follow up. Tap square. And
Okay,
eventually
all right.
you'll-
I didn't even know that. I'm just mashing the button.
Yeah, I was just curious because I've seen I've seen other people use that. I'm like, how do I do that? Is it part of the? And I was thinking maybe it's part of the grid or something that I have to buy.
Nope. Just paying attention and
All right.
following up.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm finding myself. I like the way Tifa is in this game.
Yeah, Tifa's combat style is definitely, it's perfect. It's about what you would expect, especially after watching the fight with one of Kadaj's guys in Advent Children. Like, Tifa is about what I expected and what I wanted. Because playing Tifa is like the best arcade beat 'em up game ever.
It is. I'm not gonna lie. It is.
Oh yeah. I mean, just
Though.
that and just like the DPS she's doing is like holy shit.
And then especially like
You
if
know.
you use her buffs, like she's a
She
great
does.
damage dealer.
Yeah, she really is. My question.
So
Yeah.
I guess I'm just like using these characters wrong. So I'm gonna have to like I don't know, like look at a Wikipedia or something tomorrow.
I will say this. If you're having trouble with Aerith's first spell, I forget what it's called. Her first ability. But if you put it under, and if anybody stands on it, make sure and you use a spell like Fire Cure or Fire Cure, they'll do it twice. So it's very helpful.
Oh.
So either place it under Aerith or place it under Cloud or place it anybody under the party. But as long as they're standing on there, they can cast a spell twice. So it's like double cast. But not.
Okay, now I get it.
See,
Yeah.
I didn't know all that because I've only really started using her like
Yeah.
recently.
Oh
Yeah,
well, I've
okay.
been swapping back and forth between her and Cloud. Since I'm technically ahead of you guys, but you're not that far away from me either. So I've been
Yeah, okay.
swapping back, I've been trying to learn her abilities.
Speaking of all these characters, now that we're kind of into it, and we should be wrapping up soon. We're already kind of long in the tooth.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Is that I love the fact that this is so linear, and that you're not having to just sit there and grind. Because I think that's the problem with so many other RPGs is you go, okay, well, now I have to just sit here and just grind my party to like level 30
Well,
because
well,
that's where the next boss is.
oh,
I mean,
well,
the thing is though, they still let you do that if you want. Like I spent an entire day just not streaming, of just me grinding to get to level 20.
Yeah, but see, I don't want to do
Right,
that. I
right.
just want to just
But like
go.
for a good majority of people who play RPGs, like that's kind of what they love. And like
Yeah,
there's an
yeah.
amount of people that hate grinding, which is why
I mean,
this
there is
game
a
is
guy,
such a great middle ground.
like there is a guy that I know that spent like all of his time because you have your entire party right there at the beginning in 15. He just sat there at the beginning and grinded to level 100.
Jesus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then just just destroyed the rest of the game.
See, like that ruins the fun for me.
I
Like
know
I still want
that's
a
the fun for
challenge.
him.
Yeah. But
But like that's how some people play. It's like no. I want to be so overpowered that I am literally a god.
well,
Like, oh, okay.
yeah. Well, here's my thing. When I started playing, I totally grinding never really crossed my mind until I actually watched one of Matt's video streams where he appeared saying that he did some grinding and he was on level 20. I'm like, oh crap, I should probably do that too because it could help me out. And so, luckily, I spent an entire day doing that too. And so I went from 21 to 31, and that actually helped me out to where I am right now.
See, you
So,
jumped a whole 10
so
levels. I only did like 5 levels, if that.
oh, I thought you went from like 1 to 20.
No.
Oh,
Okay. You have to understand. Will has literally watched paint dry. Like that's something he's done.
I haven't watched
So
anybody paint dry.
no, I've literally seen you just sit there and stare at a wall for hours before, buddy. So him just sitting there and doing the same task over is nothing to him.
That's concerning.
Yes, it is. It is, but the doctor says it's perfectly normal for him.
I don't remember any doctor saying that, but
Of course you don't. Of course you don't, dear. Don't worry about it.
don't
Okay,
mess with
well,
me. Please don't. I was just, I was just saying thanks, Matt, for reminding me to grind because that actually helped me in a pinch for for a
okay.
couple of boss fights that you're about to face that I will
Okay,
not
no,
say.
no more, no more. Stop it
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, I guess that's our thoughts for now. We'll probably do a follow-up cast once we've all beaten that. Whenever for you, I guess that's going to be like next week. For me, it's going to be like next month.
Yeah, because I mean, we're all about halfway through the game. There's only 18 chapters.
Really,
Yeah.
really.
There's only 18 chapters?
Yeah.
I thought there was going to be 20.
Nope.
Yeah, I figured it was like, oh, I'm on chapter 8 of like 50.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
no. Because I mean,
No, continue, sorry.
I think the way they have it set up is there's the 18 chapters, and then you can go back and you can select like a chapter that you want to revisit. That way you can 100% the game.
I would imagine that there's DLC coming.
I hope not.
don't see that.
I know with Kingdom Hearts I called it and I was like, yeah, I definitely want DLC. but I hope that they don't do DLC for this, because I think that if they keep it the way it is, and that's what they do for all the games for the new Final Fantasy VII, I feel like that's perfect. We don't have to expect DLC. We don't have to pay extra money to get more of the story that we've been waiting 15 years. Because that tech demo that teased us with like, hey, we can bring back Final Fantasy VII. That was 15 years ago.
On a PS3.
Yeah.
Yeah. So honestly, I wish there was footage of
Yeah.
it, but I remember when they first announced this game, sitting there watching the E3 with Wilson, and we're just starting to go, no, 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 no,
Yeah.
you can't, no, 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 and then we go, and then I stop and go, oh wait, buddy, they're probably like
Yeah, for
announcing some like pro version of the console, and it goes Final Fantasy VII remake, and I went
like
just
everybody was losing it that
like,
day.
like oh
I
my
think
god,
I
like,
legit
there's
screamed.
like I screamed, like I woke my parents up, I woke my neighbors up. People were pissed.
Yeah.
But then it's like, oh, is that coming out like tomorrow or something? They're like, see you in 5 years. Go fuck yourselves.
Yeah.
But again, okay, so like I understand that, okay, the game had to like be stopped and redone and a bunch of other stuff, and that's why it took so long.
And then they decided to pull from, instead of doing
Yeah,
outsourcing, they just do it in-house.
Yeah, so now, so hey, CyberConnect, I know you guys aren't probably doing that much. Dot hack.
Or,
I don't care.
make,
Or a better jump force.
no, fuck Jump Force.
Well, that's why I said, a better
jump force. Which
actually they
sort of
third-partied that, so
they did technically just, I think, announce like Jump Force 2 or something. Everyone's like, I don't care. I don't.
that game sadly is horrible.
It looked
Like,
cool.
CyberConnect, go back to making Naruto games. Like,
No. Dot hack.
No, they need to do
They're
me-
still making dot hack games. There was one that came out not too long ago. Yeah,
What?
there's one on the PS4.
you mean
know
the
that's
GU collection?
GU remake.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I beat that already. Give me more. I need more of my VR coma dystopian RPG fantasies.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Which brings me to something else that I wanted to bring up before we say our goodbyes. I wanted to bring out. So, what do you think of our new comedy relief, Johnny?
I haven't run into him too much other than that first initial meeting. So
Wait,
Oh,
do you
okay.
run into him more?
yeah. There's like I think there's like 4 or 5 times that you can run into him.
Yeah, I had
Oh,
a
you
similar,
guys
like,
aren't there
okay.
yet. Okay, sorry, my bad.
I was like, okay, they got Yuri Lowenthal, so either he was just walking by the booth,
Which,
or this is going to be
can I just
Or
shout out?
or Crispin Freeman, because
I was like, okay, so I guess this is going to be like a recurring gag character throughout the series, I'm sure.
Like,
Which, honest to God, I think a lot of times Yuri Lowenthal just gets the job because he just showed up
well, yeah.
and he was already
Like,
in the
he
booth.
actually
So they
has
said,
more credited roles than Nolan North, I'm pretty sure.
well, to be honest, Frank Relker is getting old and he just wants to do Scooby-Doo. So they got to get someone else for all those roles.
Like, let's see. Nolan North is...
yeah. All right, well, I'll have to ask that question again for our after we beat the game podcast.
I like him. He seems.
He
like
seems
an
like he
interesting
means
thing.
well.
I like that they're filling the world with like the classic goofball, like, who the fuck is this characters?
Yeah.
Jesus. Yuri Lowenthal, 723 rolls.
I was expecting 4,000.
Nolan North has 413.
Yeah, well, at this point, I think they just drive around studio lots in the same car, just staring people down,
I could see that.
just waiting for, yeah, like, you know.
Yeah.
Honestly, at one point, I actually emailed when, like, as a kid, I emailed his manager asking him if he was locked in the basement somewhere, forced to do VO lines, and I got a response saying, "Don't worry about it." So as far as I know, Yuri Lowenthal could still be locked in a basement, forced to voice whatever script gets thrown at him.
Possibly, but I think he likes it because, like, remember he retweeted at me, and I was so fucking excited.
He retweeted.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
He retweeted. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
he's my favorite voice actor, and I put something.
He's
because
mine,
he
too.
was, because when he was announced as Spider-Man, I lost my shit, and I was just like, "Oh my god, my favorite voice actor is playing one of my favorite superheroes," and he retweeted it. And then I lost my shit again on Twitter, and he retweeted that, and I was like, Yuri Lowenthal thinks I make awesome tweets.
Okay, well, let's end it here on a high
Yeah,
note.
because we're at
it's
an hour
getting
and
kind of late.
55 minutes, so...
I still
Yeah.
got a week off to play this game, so I'm pretty sure I'll have
Yeah,
it
okay.
beaten by next week.
So that brings us to channels. So you're all currently watching this on Heavy Crow. I don't know how you found us because we have no viewers. No one watches this. We're scrub lords. So where can we find you, Matt?
You guys can find me on twitch.tv/audio_shadow, or my YouTube channel, which is Audio Shadow. And yeah, that's about it.
Yep. And Wilson, what are you? What's the channel that you're putting all this stuff under?
Right now it's under Wicked Wilson Gaming, but I might
Yes.
change that name soon or whatever. And then my Twitch is Will_Sun_Goku. It's a bad joke,
Because well,
but yeah.
you know,
Hope-
I tried to get both of you on the name branding thing, but you guys didn't want to hear it. So that is where you guys can find that, and for everything else, we'll be right here at Heavy Crow. It's the main channel, so stay tuned for more stuff from us, right?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yep. And if you're all wondering, hey, how come Matt isn't in most of these videos?
It's because I don't live there
because-
anymore.
Yeah,
I'm like the...
because
if anybody who's watching this is familiar with TFS, I'm basically Masako.
no, you're basically the black sheep that we banished.
Yeah, Masako. He's in the UK.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
Oh,
Okay. Well, that is it for this episode. Both of you guys are streaming Final Fantasy VII and currently RE3.
Yep, I'm
right?
probably going to stream
well,
some more RE3
he's doing.
tonight.
Yeah, he's
so-
he's doing RE3. I'm doing RE at my own pace off stream, but
Cool. Yeah. So that's that.
I
Hopefully.
do try to my best to try to tag Matt in whenever I start streaming.
Yeah, that way, someone's babysitting you. Yes. Which is a good policy to have because, you're you. Hopefully we'll get more content as normal on this channel and more of these episodes because I kind of like doing this.
Yeah, no, this was fun.
It was a good
Yeah,
chat.
Okay. Yeah, so be prepared for more content and new content. So, Heavy Crow out.
All right, later, everybody.
All right. Bye.